We're just taking a rest as we make our way into the 650-acre Salina Nature Reserve here on Grand Cayman. It's one of only 2 places left on the island where you can find the endangered Cayman blue iguana. We've got to clamber way across this 16 million year old coral reef that will cut you to shreds if you fall on it, hence these handy gloves. There's irritant trees, it's disorientating, and the sun is beating down relentlessly. It's incredibly arduous. Normally, people wouldn't be able to get in here. The only reason we're here is because we're with Paul and Stuart from the National Trust, and they've got this GPS with all the trails on it, so we can find our way in and out and hopefully track down a blue iguana. You might think, why the hell are we wearing heavy-duty gardening gloves, trousers, and definitely not very nature-checked shirt? But the whole of this place, obviously, if we fall over, this is going to tear us to shreds, legs, arms, hands. And there's also a plant called a maiden plum, which is an irritant, but almost more than an irritant. It can blister your skin so much so that people have needed skin grafts in the past. Which, all of this makes it brilliant for blue iguanas because nothing can really get in. One of the reasons they were almost extinct was because of dogs and persecution and being hit on the road. So here it's a sanctuary. It's a natural barricade for all the bad stuff that could kill them, and they're thriving. No sooner had I said about the natural barricades than this is a maiden plum sapling, and it's in the same family as the mango and the cashew, so you'd think it was kind of safe for us. But it's also in the same family as poison sumac and poison ivy, which most sensible people know to avoid. So that's why I've got gloves on, trousers on, and I don't want a skin graft anytime soon, so I'm going to avoid it on this route. Just come across this pair of Zenaida doves having a good old preen in the dense scrub here. They've got these beautiful, like olive coloured almost, black spots on the wings. Giving us a nice show. One of the biggest things when you're out tracking for things is obviously poo. Tells you that there's something there, and this cigar-like roll of leaves that's now disintegrating in my hands is a sun-baked blue iguana poo. So it's probably not fresh, but they're around here somewhere. We might not have found a Cayman blue iguana yet, but we have found this little guy, or quite a big guy. It's one of the world's largest tree frogs. It's a Cuban tree frog. And he's been quite sensible, hiding behind this little sign on the tree while we're baking in the hot sun. So we're going to leave him to it and continue our search for the iguana. If the maiden plum and the really sharp limestone that we're having to clamber across here wasn't bad enough, we've just come across this guy, a manchineel tree. And it's probably the worst thing that you could be near because everything about it is awful. The leaves give you blisters on your skin, the sap from it burns your skin like acid, and if ingested it would highly likely kill you. In fact, elsewhere in the Caribbean, back in the day, the indigenous people were rumoured to tie their enemies to the trunk so that they burnt to death. And the most amazing thing about it, you think hearing all of that you'd want to avoid it and everything living thing would want to avoid it. But the blue iguana has been found to eat the fruit of this. Incredible. Behind us, somewhere in there, we have seen him, is a Cayman blue iguana. And we know it's a male because he's got, they call them Winston Churchill cheeks, these big cheeks, and a long snout. I'm not sure where it is at the minute, but every so often you hear it walking and then it stops. But this stuff's pretty impenetrable, so we're just going to wait for it to come out in the open again. We had a fleeting glimpse of this guy deep in the scrub, but now we've managed to track him down out in the open a little bit, and now we're up close. You can see just behind his head there's a little marker, and that's so the researchers can identify him. which is incredibly important. In 2002, there were less than 12 of these guys left in the wild here in Salina. But thanks to an intensive conservation and reintroduction project, now there's more than 800. So they've gone from being the rarest iguana in the world to still pretty rare. But the battle could almost be won.